Good morning.
Good morning.
So, I thought I had things all figured out for my life at some point. Let's say 15 years ago. I had a great business that I was running. I was investigating discrimination complaints for the federal government, and I really enjoyed that work. I have a wonderful husband, and we have a lot of joy and peace in our marriage. Great friends, great relationships with my family, so just very, very happy. And there was still some undercurrent of feeling that something was not quite right, or life did not feel as full or as fulfilling as I would like it to be. And I didn't know what that was about. But a number of years before that, I had started a meditation practice. And so I was in the habit every day of starting my day with quiet time. And that was really the first time in my life that I really started to listen to Spirit and to the Creator. And what was it that I needed to hear for my life, no matter whether it had to do with personal life or finances or my business. And so one day in my meditation time, this idea for a book came up. And it was very clear, and it was to be a collection of stories from women about watershed experiences in their life and what it taught them. And so it was very, very clear, this inspiration. I thought, well, that's odd. I don't want to write a book. Never thought about it, hadn't planned it. I don't do women's groups. So I discounted it. And it kept coming up for me again. I would sit in meditation, and the ideas for this book would come up. And the people, women that I had not talked to for a long time, suddenly they would appear to me in my mind during meditation. And I thought, what is this thing? I don't want to do this. I've got things figured out. I got all my little ducks in a row, and even though, I was fooling myself that they were all kind of clucking together and walking in a straight line all the time, we have this thing that we think we've got it all together. But it's interesting how this idea would not let me go. I would be watching TV, and usually there would be a movie star or somebody on TV, and she was doing something, compromising herself in a relationship, or there was just something horrific that was on TV. And my first thought was, where are the women in her life that should be talking to her? I never had that thought before. All of a sudden, every single time I'd watch TV, or I'd meet somebody and they were dealing with a crisis, that idea would come up, and I was asking those kinds of questions. So I had had over the years a number of experiences with what people call the cosmic 2x4, where if you don't pay attention to something, the idea keeps coming back, and the reminder gets bigger and harder, and the lessons become louder. And so I thought, maybe I'll start listening to this, because this is showing up enough that I need to do something. And so I thought, I'm going to start talking to some of the women I most admire in my life and ask them to write a story. And I asked them to be open and honest, be totally emotional and raw in your telling of the story, because I really wanted women to be able to see themselves in each other in these stories, so that we can break down barriers and know that you're not different from me, even though I think you're different because of the way you look or where you worship or how you vote or whatever that is. And so women started sending in stories. And I thought, what's going on? I don't want to do this thing. I thought I would send out these inquiries for stories and nobody would pay attention, because I'm thinking, I'm nobody. Who's going to follow me to do anything? So I got a little bolder, and I started Googling people that I would see on TV, and I would find her, and it's interesting what you can find out about people and that you can contact them, and I would send emails to people I didn't know, and all of these women said yes. And I thought, no, I don't want to do this thing. And these women I thought were pretty fantastic. I mean, one was a doctor in Brooklyn, New York, who was serving underserved women who had AIDS and HIV. And she didn't know me. I emailed her. She said, I'd be happy to talk to you. And I told her about the project, and she said, yes, I'm going to work on the story and send it to you. And I thought, oh my gosh, what's going on here? And it's interesting that as I met these women, I started to think about me and who I am, and all of them scared me to death. Because I thought, they're going to find out that I'm not that fantastic and that I don't know what I'm doing. Because I didn't know what I was doing. I'd never written a book before. I'd never gathered stories or created an anthology. I didn't know where this was going. I just created this thing. And all of them said yes, and I thought, they're going to find me out sooner or later because I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. I don't do things like this. But I was very clear that Spirit had called me to do it. And I thought for a minute, you know, God is omnipresent and omnipotent, but I think this is his first mistake. Because that message was for somebody else. He couldn't have been asking me to do this project. I'm not worthy. But man, this thing wouldn't let me go on. And I just kept doing it. And I met the most fantastic women. And every single time I would sit in a conversation with one of these women, I felt at home. And I felt like, man, if this is work, I could do this the rest of my life. And it was just fantastic. And so I started to find something within myself that I never knew existed. And I started to have this dialogue almost with the Creator about what's supposed to happen. I would meet one person, then all of a sudden somebody else would find me on the internet or send me an email and say, I heard you're doing a book. Can I send you a story? And I would think, where did these people come from? But the journey kept going, and I kept trusting, and I kept looking deeper within myself to see, what is it that the Creator sees in me that I don't see in myself? So it's interesting, through some of my journey, I started reading the Conversations with God series. And this one passage literally brought me to my knees. Literally. There are no coincidences in the universe. I have heard the crying of your heart. I have seen the searching of your soul. I know how deeply you have desired the truth. In pain you have called out for it, and in joy. Unendingly have you beseeched me, show myself, explain myself, reveal myself. I am doing so here in terms so plain you cannot misunderstand, in language so simple you cannot be confused, in vocabulary so common you cannot get lost in the verbiage. So go ahead now, ask me anything, anything. I will contrive to bring you the answer. The whole universe will I use to do this. So be on the lookout. This book is far from my only tool. You may ask a question, then put this book down, but watch, listen. The words to the next song you hear, the information in the next article you read, the storyline of the next movie you watch, the chance utterance of the next person you meet, or the whisper of the next river, the next ocean, the next breeze that caresses your ear. All these devices are mine. All these avenues are open to me. I will speak to you if you will listen. I will come to you if you will invite me. I will show you then that I have always been there, always. So along this journey, I'm asking, because I want to know, why me? And what makes you think, the Creator, that this was for me to do? This feels like fantastic work. So along this time, we watched the movie Secretariat. And just fell in love with the movie. And at the end of the movie, it's the depiction of Secretariat running the Belmont in 1973. And as he's running that race, I wept. Now that's not unusual because I cry all the time. I cry in movies, I cry during commercials. I'm just a crier. So it's not unusual for me to cry during a movie. But this was a hard weeping, like Oprah calls it the ugly cry. Yes, I was in the ugly cry. My husband looked at me like, "What, are you okay?" Like, it's a horse, honey. He's running a race. And so I couldn't let go of this. And I watched the last 6 minutes of that movie every single day for about a year. So can we watch this clip now? Wow, right? And I've got goosebumps now watching that. Oh, isn't that fantastic? And I was weeping when I saw this, and every single day when I watched it again, I wept, just wept hard. And so probably after viewing number 300, I'm sitting on the floor of my bedroom weeping again, and I said, what is it about this horse and this movie? What is it? So I'm asking a question. I just threw it out there. And clear as a bell, I heard, you are a winner at heart. And again, the tears just rolled. And I thought, oh my gosh, I've never, ever thought of myself as a winner. And of someone who could get something extraordinary done, that I possibly could be extraordinary. You are a winner at heart. And I tell you what, watching that was a huge message to me from the Creator saying, I gave you that. You have that. And it helped me finish that book. Because I tell you what, the night that I was to finish that book, I had about 2 or 3 things left to do that were minor things that could have taken me 15 minutes to do. And I couldn't finish because I thought I didn't have it in me. Because I thought I wasn't worthy. Because I thought I'm not made of that kind of stuff. And so I had this war going on in my head, one side of me that said, you don't finish things, you're damaged goods. You don't come from a place where people do that kind of thing. But on the other side of me was that message, you are a winner at heart. That message that said, for this you were born. I brought you here to do important work. Friends, all of us were brought here to do important work. We didn't come here to just get up every day, show up at a job, do some work at a desk or whatever it is you do, get a paycheck, go home, get up the next morning and start again. We are here at this very time on the planet for a specific reason, and each of us has a gift in order to heal the planet and ourselves. Because as I did this work, I healed. I started to recognize the divinity within me. We are part and parcel of the same force that created the heavens and the earth. We are children of God. We carry that. That is us. And yet we fail to see it. Because we look at our mistakes. We look at the circumstance in our life and say, I'm not important. But we are A horse told me. Yes. One of my favorite Psalms is Psalm 139. And it says, "Where can I go from your spirit? Where can I flee from your presence? If I go up to the heavens, you are there. If I make my bed in the depths, you are there. If I rise on the wings of the dawn, if I settle on the far side of the sea, even there your hand will guide me, your right hand will hold me fast. If I say, surely the darkness will hide me and the light become night around me, even the darkness will not be dark to you. The night will shine like the day, for darkness is as light to you. For you created my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well. I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. What if you got up every single day knowing that and stepping into that and setting about your day knowing that you are fearfully, wonderfully made? And when we say fearfully, we don't mean fear as in I'm afraid. It means awesomeness. Every last one of us. And there's no small thing in the universe. So if your calling is to tell young people that they are treasured and loved and valued and have something important to do on this planet, that is huge, because you never know what those little people are going to do when they grow up. They may cure cancer. They may be a healer. They may be a teacher. Or you may be somebody who writes a book or who starts a movement or who's a scientist. You never know. We're all called to do something. There's no big or small in the universe. It is all good and powerful and necessary. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. And when you can say to myself, I know that full well, your life will change. I am doing things that I've never thought I was doing. That whole career that I thought I had before, that business, I walked away from it. And now I do this. If you had told me a couple of years ago that I would be speaking in a church on Sundays, I would have told you you were crazy. I don't do that. Public speaking maybe, but at church? If you told me that I would be producing and directing storytelling events, I would have told you you were crazy. I don't do events. I love going to the theater. I don't want to make theater happen. But that's what I do now. I sang in a choir. I never wanted to sing solos, and then I was inspired to do that. And now I'll get up and sing in front of people. And my prayer is, sing through me, because I know there's nothing that we do alone. You co-create with Spirit every single day, every moment of every single day. But we get lost in a minutia of our lives and think that we are one of those minute things, that we are one of those minute circumstances, and we're not. We're so much more, friends. So listen for the messages. Just like that passage, it may be people walking up to you and saying something to you over and over again, and you think, where did that come from? These people don't even know me. Something as inane, you would think, as a movie. And who knew when they made this movie that 6 minutes at the end could change somebody's life? Now when I have something hard to do, I am that horse. I think about that horse running on that race course. I do it when I exercise and I feel like getting off of that exercise bike and sitting down. And I think of running that course and what that is, and that phrase, you are a winner at heart. So if you need something to help you get through what it is you're called to do, use it. It is all here. We're all being given these riches to take us through the day, to take us through our lives so that we can do what we're called to do. We were made for greatness. We are great. We are fearfully and wonderfully made. You will know that, and you will live that every single day. And if you ever forget that that's who you are, call me, and I'll remind you. Listen for the signals, for the signs. It's not a coincidence. It's divinely ordained, just like you. Thank you very much. Take a deep breath. And quiet yourself. And find that space within you where you hear the still small voice, where you hear your intuition speak to you, where you have heard the promptings of your heart. Take another deep breath. And feel whatever it was you felt as that horse was running that race. That emotion that came up. That excitement that came up. And know that you are fearfully and wonderfully made. That all the goodness of the heavens and the earth are yours. And that you are, we are, that goodness. We are faith. We are imagination. We are right judgment and wisdom. We are life and love and order and power and renunciation. We are strength, understanding, will, and zeal. Take another deep breath. Knowing that the answers to all that you seek lie within you. That you are limitless. Part and parcel of the same force that created the heavens and the earth. The cosmos, the beauty of nature. You are love. You are power. You are strength. Breathe once again this breath of heaven. And in the next moment, offer a silent prayer for whatever your mission and calling may be. The message that you heard, that you can't quite believe. or that you have no idea how it will come about. Hold it in your heart and ask in this moment for the assurance, for the sign, for the next step that you need to take. And we give thanks for this in all things. Amen. Away the songs I sing, take away all the lights, and all the songs you let me write. Does the soul I am today say the words you need to say? Let them see you in me. Let them hear you when I speak. Let them feel you when I sing. Let them see you. Just let them see you in me. Who am I without your grace? Another smile, another face, another breath, a grain of sand, passing quickly through your hand. I give my life an offering. Take it all, take everything. Let them see you in me. Let them hear you when I speak. Let them feel you when I sing. Let them see you. Just let them see you in me. With every breath I breathe, I sing a simple melody, but I pray they'll hear more than a song in me, in me. Let them see you in me. Let them hear you when I speak. Let them feel you when I sing. Let them see you. Oh, let them see you in me. Let them hear you when I speak. Let them feel you when I sing. Let them see you. Just let them see you in me. Just let them see you in me. Just let them see you in me. Just let them see you in me.